just want to run through with you today my choice of feeder for commercial venues. First feeder that is always my go-to feeder on a commercial is the Method. Now, a straightforward flatbed Method feeder, either in medium or small, for me is the #1 choice. But it's only the #1 choice because of the type of venues that we tend to fish in the UK. A Method feeder for me is perfect for fishing in water up to about 6 foot deep. So whenever you're casting to an island, likelihood is you're going to have a lot less than 6 foot, or if into open water and the depth is less than 6 foot, then I always go to a Method feeder. It's a perfectly presented ball of bait. You've seen it loads of times. You lay your bait in the Method feeder, you fill your pellets in, and you literally just press your Method feeder on top. Obviously this is, you know, very straightforward, something that we've done lots, and there you have a perfectly presented ball of bait. Now the reason this is only good in 6 foot of water is any deeper than that, what tends to happen is as it's falling, the bait gets knocked off the Method feeder. So there'll be bits of bait spread around on the bottom, not all contained in a nice ball like what you've got there. That's really, really important. You've all seen us doing that when we're pushing the bait hard on the Method feeder. That is so important. But what happens is that as you fall into deeper water, like I said, bits get knocked off. So what I've been using in the deeper water, and anywhere, especially if you've got a venue that's, say, you know, 3 or 4 meters deep, then I use a Banjo feeder. This is really come in well for me over the last year or so. I wasn't quite sure how it fitted into my fishing, and it was definitely in those deeper water venues such as Larford. I've been there before. A Banjo has definitely outscored a Method for me because I feel it's keeping my bait very neat and tight on the bottom. It's also incredibly easy and quick to use. So all I do is just lay the bait in the Banjo, put some pellets on top, and just use the palm of my hand to make it flat. Now that is very important. It's just a flat layer of bait contained within the Banjo feeder. So when it's falling down in the deep water, the feeder is actually protecting all the bait. So when it lands on the bottom, it's a self-contained area of bait that the fish can just home in on and take in one go. You'll be amazed at the difference between that and a Method feeder when you're trying to catch bigger fish, bigger carp and bigger bream. They really will concentrate in on that tightly compacted area of bait. So it's just a simple change to a Banjo, and you saw how quick it was for me to load. The other feeder I've got, which is very interesting, is a pellet feeder. Now we've all seen pellet feeders, and I get asked all the time, when do I use a pellet feeder over a Method feeder? Well, for me, the pellet feeder really scores well on venues where there are lots and lots of fish. We've all been Method feeder fishing. You chuck your Method in, hits the bottom, and the tip's like this, non-stop, all the time. And you think to yourself, oh, why, come on, take the bait, take the bait. And all that happens is the fish knock about all these pellets and it's gone, and you're just left with a piece of plastic and your hook bait. Well, what the pellet feeder does, when you scoop the pellets into a pellet feeder, it protects the bait. So with your hook bait right on the edge of the pellet feeder, there's only one area the fish can get to. So as all these fish will be around this trying to get at the pellets, there's only one area that they can get to, and it's this at the bottom. So when there's lots of fish in your peg, the pellet feeder really scores well because they really have to compete for the bait, and your hook bait will be right there. So they're the 3 types of feeder I use on commercial fisheries. Think about that when you sit down on your commercial, because to be honest, it really does make a difference. Remember, it's very competitive fishing these days. Everybody's using different types of feeder. Picking the right feeder can help you catch those extra fish.